together in the Washington State Legislature. And I want you to know, during that time period, he hit the ground running and was constantly bugging all of us about what we were going to do for economic development in Yakima. And then when I worked with him in Congress, he was constantly talking about apples and how we were going to get the Chinese market open for apples. And then, when he was the representative of the 1st Congressional District, Jay and I took the side of a little entity against a big giant when we both said Snohomish County PUD was right and Enron was wrong for buying the state. So I know Jay Inslee the fighter, and I know that he will fight for us in this state of Washington. I know that he'll protect a woman's right to choose. I know that he will protect same-sex marriage, and I know that he will be a great steward for our environment. One of our previous governors said, environmentalists make great ancestors, and I guarantee you as Governor Jay Inslee will be a great leader on the environment for our state. There are those that think this choice isn't just about cutting revenue and basically making sure that they deregulate. Well, I can tell you this, I am there to make sure that whether it's the Pebble Mine in Bristol Bay, or whether it's regulation on making sure that polluters pay, or returning to Glass-Steagall, I'm for regulation. I can tell you this, I want to make something in America besides exotic financial instruments. I want to make software. I want us to continue to innovate, and I want a governor in our state that understands innovation. And I can tell you this, when it comes to education, Jay Inslee understands how important it is to innovate. We have somebody who's basically making a commitment to STEM education and to putting the resources where they need to be. So I ask you, do you want a governor who basically says he's not going to be the next Scott Walker, and yet the Republican Governors Association says he's going to act just like Scott Walker? Or do you want Jay Inslee to implement a world-class STEM education system here in the state of Washington? I think of how our state has led on healthcare innovation. I can tell you this firsthand. Whether it's the Children's Healthcare Initiative that we innovated first before the nation, whether it's our innovative Medicaid program and the basic health plan, whether it's our ideas about moving long-term care to community-based care, whether it's the importance of NIH funding in our state, whether it's the health IT issues that we've been so good on, and talking about Virginia Mason and lean manufacturing as it relates to healthcare. These are all important issues. And the governor of our state is a person who continues to innovate in healthcare and asks the federal government to innovate with us. So do you want your next governor to be somebody who tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act? Or do you want a governor who went to the floor of Congress and fought to make sure that pre-existing conditions were no longer a one-way street to personal health? I can tell you this because Jay Inslee and I have had a lot of conversations about energy. You know, it started a long time ago when we used to fly back and forth from Washington, D.C., and sometimes we would stop in Chicago and basically get around and walk around the airport to stretch our legs and have a conversation and then get back on the plane. But I know that Jay Inslee has been committed for a long time in making sure that we diversify off of fossil fuel. And so, are saying now that they want to adopt a clean energy strategy. I guarantee you that Inslee has already written the book on clean energy. The governor asked people to convene a special focus for our state. Business leaders, labor leaders, academics, everyone saying, what should be our strategic investment for Washington State? And they came up with a plan. And they basically said, quote, our vision for Washington State. Make Washington State the most attractive, creative, fertile investment environment for innovation in the world, achieving long-term global competitiveness, prosperity, and economic opportunity for the citizens of the state. End quote. So if that is our mission, I guarantee you we need to hire